नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Om. Dear friends, we are seeing the Adi Parva, that is the first volume of Mahabharata, where we have come to the scene where the Pandavas and Kauravas, there was an Astra Vidya Pradarsham, that there was a big demonstration of weapons and all that. Thereafter, Duryodhana, this Dharmaraja was made the prince because Dharmaraja was the oldest among all. He was older than Duryodhana. So naturally, the kingdom also, it actually belonged to Panduraja because Dhritarashtra was not the king. When Panduraja went to the forest, he was not very keen on kingdom. He went to the forest and he was there, and he died in the forest there itself. Under those circumstances, Dhritarashtra became the king. So when the Pandavas, they came back, and then Pandava, naturally this Dharmaraja being the older person, he was made the Yuvaraja. And within a short time, his rule was, he governed people so well, he became the darling of all the people, and all the people, they were so happy that say he was so judicious, he was so firm, and then he was such a great friend of the people. So he was having such great qualities. So now, our Dhritarashtra, he is now feeling sad. He is now having a lot of jealousy in his mind. So that is where we were. We were in chapter 139. So where Vyasa is saying, Dhritarashtro Mahipalaha Chintam Agamad Aturaha. So he was so jealous about these people because he was worried about his own sons. If Dharmaraja becomes the prince, and then if he continues to be like this, and then if he continues to be the king, then what will happen to my own sons? So he called one crooked minister called Kanika. So that is where we were. So in fact, if we see, this chapter is called Kanika Niti. Niti, usually in Telugu, we think that Niti means, it's such a great honesty and good policy and things like that. Niti in Telugu, what we think is, Nitimantudu. Nitimantudu means he is such a righteous, upright, and then very good person. But in Sanskrit, Niti means a strategy. Niti only means a policy, state policy. It may be good, it may be bad. So it comes from a Sanskrit root called Naya. Naya means to lead, like Nayaka, Neta. So such words, they come from the same root. So how the public policy has to be, that is what is Niti. So that in fact in our literature we have got, means in Sanskrit literature we have got books like books on political policy. They are called Kamandaka Niti. For example, a book called Kamandaka Niti Shastram. Another book called Chanakya, that is Artha Shastra or Chanakya Niti Shastram. There is another book called Shukra Niti Saram, etc. Like that, there are so many books on the state policy, how a king has to govern. And it again depends on the nature of the king. And if you see the Western literature, there is a book called, in English, I don't know the other, French, German, etc. In English, there is a book called Machiavelli. Machiavelli, of course, is not an Englishman. He is from Italy or something like that. So Machiavelli's book called The Prince. So the prince, how crooked a prince has to be. So we usually use the expression Machiavellian. If somebody is a very crooked person, we say, he is such a Machiavellian politician. So like that, this Machiavelli is somebody who is supposed to be crooked. In this chapter also, we are seeing such a Machiavellian minister called Kanika. So this Niti, how should Niti be actually? In fact, subsequently, later, in same Mahabharata, we are going to see one more person who is advising Dhritarashtra. He is Vidura. We know that Vidura is again the same son of Vyasa, and he is a very, very thorough gentleman and a highly upright person. Actually, he is the incarnation of the king, the Lord of Justice. The Lord of Justice has taken a human form, that is Vidura. So he also teaches policy to Dhritarashtra. That is called Vidura Niti. If you see the whole of Mahabharata, you see the structure of Mahabharata, here we are now seeing the crooked Niti, the crooked policy, as opposed to the right policy of Vidura. So throughout Mahabharata, we will see this juxtaposition between the crooked policy and also the good policy. And Duryodhana, now we are seeing the king, who is this man, this Dhritarashtra himself, he has invited that crooked minister and he is just pouring out his heart to him. Oh, I am really jealous of those people, my dear friend. You tell me what I have to do now. You tell me what is the policy. And that man naturally he teaches his own policy. But here what we have to see is, in our Indian tradition, we have got 4 human goals. That is dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Dharma means righteous way of living. Artha means taking steps to get all material needs, because every human being has got a right to earn money. We have got a right to make a living. We have got a right to make a comfortable living. So, but that has to be through the process of dharma, through the process of, through a right path. So, first of all, what is called dharma is the right path. The second is the artha. Artha means earning the material goods necessary, or what we call success in life. Somebody says, okay, he has achieved some success in life. So, all those things, they come under the word artha. Then third is kama. Kama means a desire. We have got several desires, including bodily desires. Sex is one such thing. Usually by the word kama, we only refer to sex. But kama is again a neutral word, not merely sex. Various desires can be there. So all those desires are categorized under the word, are captured by the word kama. Then the final thing is what is called moksha. Moksha is the pursuit of that knowledge, of what is that ultimate reality. And once you know that reality, then you are freed. You become a free man. You become free from all our small identities and small petty feelings. First of all, our pettiness goes. So that is the basic point. So liberated from the pettiness. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So if you see these 4, dharma is in one corner, on one side, and moksha is on the other side. So that means artha and kama are sandwiched between this dharma and moksha, which means that through the process of dharma, a person has to achieve this artha and kama, so that these 2 things, they will not be a hindrance to his further step, that is the next step, that is called moksha. Moksha means pursuing the path of knowledge. A person with a dirty mind cannot follow the path of knowledge. So that is the reason why our people said dharma, arthasya, kamasya. In fact, in Mahabharata, the motto of Mahabharata, at the end of each, in every volume, the last page, it gives the motto of Mahabharata. What is that? Dharma, arthasya, kamasya, he says. This sage Vyasa, it seems he just raised his hands and it seems he was roaring. Urdhva bahu raumyesha. There is a very famous shloka which is given at the end. Urdhva bahu means raising my hands. I am just shouting aloud, you please follow dharma. You have your comforts, you have all your desires, but then through the path of right. But unfortunately, people are not listening to me. That is what Vyasa says. So like that, here also, the Kanika Niti is something which is devoid of dharma. He is following basically artha and kama. He is only talking about how to achieve your goal, how to, if you want to be the king, you want to be the king. If you want to eliminate all the people, you follow all. There is no holds barred. No holds barred. There is no righteous means. There is nothing like right or wrong. You follow any policy, but kill your enemies. So that is what he is going to say. So, but Vidura Niti, on the other hand, is something different. Vidura Niti, that is following the right path. Following the right path, you achieve what all you want. So that is that juxtaposition which we have to note. So here, of course, this chapter, in fact, it has got so many shlokas. It's a very, very long chapter. Not very, very long. It is having about 93 verses. So 93 verses I will not read. I will just read a couple of verses, just to give a hint of what this Kanika is saying. This Kanika is saying, a king is supposed to be always udyata danda syat. Udyata danda means a king has to be very, very harsh. He should never be forgiving. A king should never be forgiving. He should be very harsh, and people will be afraid only of a harsh king. Otherwise, people will not obey. They will just take you for granted. Na asya chidram param parah pashyet. You always have to conceal your own weak points. You should always be watchful about the other man's weak point, and you have to conceal your own weak points. and you have to conceal yourself like the tortoise conceals its limbs, withdraws its limbs. Even when you are angry, you should have a smiling face. A man may smile and smile. That's what Shakespeare says. So like that, you have to keep smiling and be villainous within. And similarly, Alpopyagnir Vanam Krusnam, he says, when the time is not very favorable, then you just turn a blind eye, and just pretend as though you are not aware of it, like a deaf man. And when the opportunity comes, you just smash the enemy. And then, Hanyat Trin Panjaya, it again says, Phalarthoyam Samarambha. When the time is not very favorable, you have to carry your enemy on your shoulders. You carry your enemy pretending to be very nice. But when your time comes, just throw him on the ground like you throw a mud pot. Then again, Mulameva Aditaschindyat. And then you just strike at the root of your enemy. Just don't allow him to live. And then he also tells a small story. And in fact, in Mahabharata, we find such a small stories are told. We are all aware of what is called Panchatantra. Panchatantra, the stories where there is a bird, there is a jackal, there is a crow, there is some other rat, there is all these things. A similar story is also told here. I am skipping that story. Then again, he says, then you do all villainous deeds and then do them in such a secret manner. And having done all those villainous deeds, you also outwardly follow dharma. That is, you give some charity. You call some people, and then opinion makers, as we call them. So those opinion makers, you call them, and then you bribe them, you give some monies, and then you also follow dharma, so that all your bad deeds are washed off. So this Kanika is also saying how a king has to win friends. He says, Bhayena bhedayed bhiram. If the opponent is slightly, not opponent, anybody, whomever you want to win over. If the other man is yielding to threats, if the other man is not very bold and then timid, then you be tough and then try to frighten him. If the other man is bold, then try to please him. Shuram Anjalika. If he is a very, very strong man, you fold your hands and then you try to please him. Then again, Lubdham Artha Pradhanena. And if a person is greedy, you try to give him money, you bribe him. By all means, Dhana, Shama, what is this, Samadana, Beda and Danda, Lubdham Artha Pradhanena, Samam Nyunam Tathau Jasya. So like that, you have to win over all people by all types of crooked means. And Gurorapyavaliptasya. And even if a big man, even if your own guru, if he is not favorable to you, you should not have any qualms about removing them. You should never have any qualms. Putra Sakhava, Bhratava, whether he is a son, Putra is a son, Sakha is a friend, Bhrata is a brother, Pita is a father, whatever it is, Ripusthaneshu Vartanta. If he becomes an enemy, you have to be ruthless. Hantavya, Bhutimicchata. Hantavya means a person has to be eliminated. If you want your success in life, you have to eliminate your father, your brother, your son, anybody who is opposing that. And when you have to trust people, don't trust too much. Na vishvased avishvaste. Vishvasete na ati vishvaset. You are, as a matter of policy, you are not supposed to trust people. And when you are forced to trust some people, then don't trust too much. So in fact, that is what usually the various agencies also they follow. In God we trust, other we polygraph, they say. We only trust God. All other people we have to polygraph. So that is like that. Then Pashandans, Tapasadins, and again how you have to cultivate your informants, how you have to watch your the opponent, etc. And of course there are so many details about what are all the various places in the enemy kingdom where you have to keep a watch. In fact, this we get in Ramayana also. Ramayana we discussed at that time in great detail, but now of course I am not going into great detail. So who has to be won over on the enemy side, and where exactly you have to keep a watch in the enemy kingdom. Of course, we are not into that. We are now trying to see how this Kanika is trying to influence him about what he has to do with Pandavas. So that is what we are right now concerned. Then you have to, the king has to follow all policies. Anjali Shapatha Santvam Shirasa Padavandanam, depending on the situation. If you have to hold your hands, we see all these things we are right now seeing in all our politicians. They come and whenever they come to people, they come with a folded hand only. They come with a folded hand only. Whenever they see people, they just come with they fold. And we feel as though, yes, we feel highly gratified. So Anjali Shapataha, yes, Shapata is a promise. You have to always make some promise. Shirasa Pada Santvam, you could speak in such a gentle way. And Shirasa Padavandanam, if it needs, you touch their feet. And this, of course, this also we see. And Ashakarana Mityevam, just give them hope. And that hope has to be always there. Yes, I am promising. I am going to give this, I am going to give this, etc., etc. And when you give that promise also, and that promise also, it should not be immediately fulfilled. It has to wait and hold on, and then you again fulfill a little bit, and then again a little bit, and he should always be grateful to you. He should always be obliged to you. He should always be coming to you. So that way you have to keep the people. And then again like this, na chitva paramarmani, na krutva karmadarunam. And he says, behind all wealth there is crookedness, there is sin. There is a great saying in English also, behind every great wealth there is sin. This is precisely, he says, na chitva paramarmani. Without killing people, without doing very, very crooked things, na hatva matsyaghātīva, and not by not killing people, nobody will come to prosperity. Nobody will achieve nobody will achieve very great wealth. Na prapnoti mahatim shriyam, he says. And again, similarly, na asya krutvani buddhyeran, yeah. And again, no one should know what you are proposed to do. Only they have to only know after a thing has been done. Suppose when I am thinking of when I am trying to do something, and something is in my mind, nobody should know. Only when I complete the task, then only the person has to know what I have done. And bhitava samvidhatavyam yavad bhayam anagatam. And you just try to be just pretending as though you are afraid, and sometimes you have to pretend as though you are afraid. And you should also be paranoid about your enemies, because there is a saying, only paranoid survive. So you should always be paranoid about your survival. And utsahaschapi yatnena kartavya, always high morale. You have to always never say die. There is again a word called never say die. Utsahaschapi yatnena kartavyo bhutimicchata. If you want to have prosperity, if you want to be successful, you should never lose that spirit or morale. You should always have that high morale. So then, Asham kalavatim kuriyat. Again he is saying, a promise, you can promise a person and slightly prolong it. And when that is due, suppose some big promise is made, and that big promise, when it is due, then you create some obstacle. Something like present day example, if you want to take, you create an obstacle, means somebody will file a petition in the court, and that court will give some sort of order, some sort of injunction, and some stay or something like that. So holding that, keeping that in view, you can further prolong. You can further prolong, and the hurdle should appear as though it is quite natural. So, Vignam nimittato bruyat, that Vignam, whatever hurdle has come, that hurdle, oh, it is not because of me, it is because of the court, something like that. So, this Kanikas, and again finally also he says, Bhratruvya balino yasmat, and your brothers' sons, they are very, very strong. So, you have to adopt all these crooked policies. Tvam Panduputrebhyaha raksha atmanam naradhipa. You have to protect yourself from the sons of Pandu, and you should take steps to crush them in whatever manner you want. Paschat tapo ethana syat, so that you won't repent later. Paschat tapa means repentance. You do something, paschat tapaha. We also use the word in Telugu, paschat tapa. Paschat means later. Tapa means feeling bad. Paschatapa means feeling bad after doing something. So you should not have paschatapa, means you have to do things in the right way so that you will not repent later. So that is what it means. So like that, this Kanika, he gives a long lot many verses he says, and then he gives a long advice to this Dhritarashtra, who was just in need of such advice, in the sense that Dhritarashtra's mind is also already there. Dhritarashtra's mind already is settled in evil. In fact, in the very beginning of Mahabharata, there is a great poem by Vyasa, there is a great shloka by Vyasa. He compared the whole, in fact, he has given the gist of Mahabharata in 2 verses by telling about Dharmaraja, by telling about Duryodhana. About Dharmaraja, he says, Dharmaraja is like a tree of virtue. Dharmamayo Mahadrumaha. Yudhishthiro Dharmamayo Mahadrumaha. Yudhishthira is that Mahadruma. Druma is a tree, the tree of righteousness. And Pandura, this Bhima, Arjuna, etc., they are the branches. And Dharmam is its root. Whereas here, in the case of Duryodhana, he says, Duryodhano Manyumayo Mahadrumaha. There are 2 lines. One is Yudhishthiro Dharmamaya. Yudhishthira, in the case of Yudhishthira or Dharmaraja, he is a tree of virtue, and this man is the tree of hate. The tree of hate. When I am having hatred, I just want to crush people. So in this tree of hate, who are the important people? We know that there are 4 important people: Duryodhana, Shakuni, Karna, and Dushasana. The evil 4, as we call. The evil 4 is Dushta Chatushtaya. In Sanskrit, it is called Dushta Chatushtaya. Chatushtaya means a group of 4. Dushta means bad. The bad 4, the gang of 4, or the bad 4, or the evil 4, whatever you can say. Dushta Chatushtaya. So like that, this Dushta Chatushtaya is they are the branches. And what is the root? Root is Dhritarashtro Manishi, it says. Dhritarashtraha Amanishi. Amanishi means that foolish Dhritarashtra, he is the root. Because this gentleman, Dhritarashtra, he is always wavering. He wants to be outwardly very, very nice, but inwardly he is crooked. Inwardly he is greedy, he is ruthless, he wants to finish off ruthlessly. Even his own brother's sons he wants to finish off. So that is what is Dhritarashtra. And outwardly, he utters all right words. Even earlier we saw, at the time of that demonstration of weapons and all that, when Arjuna was being cheered by the entire crowd, he uttered, how nice it is, how we are all protected by Arjuna, etc., etc. But inwardly, he was just seething with jealousy. So here again, he poured out his mind and he got the advice he wanted. And now he is in a good morale, in a fit condition to listen to any bad idea. And that is what leads to the next parva, next sub-parva. We know that in Mahabharata there are small sub-parvas. This parva which we are reading is the Adi Parva, that first volume. In that first volume again there is a small parva called the house of, the inflammable house, the inflammable house. And now what is this inflammable house? So now we see that I was telling about the gang, a group of 4, the evil 4. So this evil 4, they sit together and then they think, these Pandavas, they are growing in size. They are growing in size and we have to cut them to size. Growing in size, so cut them to size. In the sense that we have to somehow uproot them, we have to somehow kill them. How? So they somehow conspire and they come to an idea. We have to send them to a far-off place on some pretext. On some pretext, we have to send them to some place where we have to ensure that they stay in a particular house, a totally inflammable house, made of totally inflammable material. You visualize any sort of inflammable material. In those days, natural inflammable material was oil, all this ghee, etc., and various other. So there are certain wax and various other things like that, which just get burned immediately, and all types of grass material which is put inside the walls, and then you just set fire to that and it will immediately catch fire. Outwardly, the paste, the external paste will look as though it is so nice and all that. So like that, they prepared a huge mansion. It was a nice mansion. It's a nice mansion with fantastic furniture, fantastic upholstery and whatnot, and outside the city. And they chose a city called Varanavata. Varanavata is slightly far away from this Hastinapura. And this Varanavata, they planned to send them. And they also created rumors. People started talking about people started saying that, oh, that Varanavata is a fantastic place. Like we talk about, oh, you have to see Switzerland, you have to see this place, that you have to see such nice, or you go to Paris and you have to see the Eiffel Tower and whatnot. So when people talk like that, we also feel like going and seeing. So like that, they created talk all around the town. Everybody was coming to Pandavas and saying, oh, we went to Varanavata, it was such a fantastic place, a nice place. And of course, Dharmaraja is not a fool. Dharmaraja also knows that there is something wrong. And but of course, he is also rather helpless, because by that time, we see that Duryodhana has purchased all the people. You see, like now, like we have got our political defectors. You see, if there is a chief minister and you have to approve you have to say approve that chief minister, what does the opposition party do? The opposition party wins over some of these people, so that government falls. So that is precisely what Duryodhana also does. Duryodhana, he says, he went to his father and he says, we have actually, I have won over. He says, evam etanmaya tata društva prakrutaya sarva arthamanena pujitaha. I have won over all the people. There are so many people there who all these ministers and some other important people who matter. They are the people who create public opinion. Like nowadays, what do? They purchase media. We purchase media, and the media is totally in your favor. And you also purchase some very, very important people. They are in your favor. So the people, whatever the people think, it doesn't matter. So exactly the same thing in the case of Pandavas also. Because when these people, they plan to send Pandavas to that Varanavata, people also suspect why this king is doing like this. This Yudhishthira is our Yuvaraja, and why is the king sending them out? So that is what these people think. And people also feel there is something fishy. And why is Bhishma allowing all this? Why is Drona allowing all this? Why is Vidura allowing all this? So all these people, they feel like that. And the elders actually, they are also not very happy about it. But then this person, this Duryodhana, he influences the father, and then he puts so much of pressure. They isolate the elders, Dhritarashtra and all this Duryodhana and others. They isolate the elders like Bhishma, Drona, Krupacharya, etc. And then they just conspire with Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra is already in a very, very receptive mood. So, because of that Kanika Niti. So, these people, they now plan to send out Pandavas, and we will see what happens to them. We will see tomorrow. Harihi Om Tat Sat.